Remember this video? Well, I'm bringing it up again. So I recently watched a video from Globeku, which was pretty much a response slash follow-up to GameSpot's video on anime arena fighters, and unlike that embarrassing train wreck, I actually liked this video. I think it made very good and informative points on why the anime game market is the way it is, highlighting important factors such as consumer demands and purchases. And the thing is, speaking personally, despite my disdain towards GameSpot's article, my point of view never came from a place of acceptance of the current state of anime fighting games. I honestly don't even like a lot of the recent games based on anime or manga. It's funny because it's a field of games I give my attention to the most, but the amount of will and satisfaction I feel for the vast majority of the library isn't all that high. However, while I do agree with pretty much most of what Globeku said, and if there's something I'm actually on board with that the writer of the original article said, it's the fact that we should be seeing more anime games that aren't arena fighters. I agree. I would be happy to see a diverse set of genres being explored in the anime gaming sphere. Nevertheless, there is one important piece of information I feel like a lot of people aren't taking into account, and that is the very nature of the IPs themselves. A lot of the anime or manga that gets turned into arena fighters are battle shonen series, stuff that while you could argue there's more to them than just the fights, they are still fight-oriented series. There's a lot of emphasis put into the power system and combat skills of the characters. At the end of the day, if you ask any publisher, or hell, any rational human being what's the best genre of games that can appease to these characteristics, the answer is obviously going to be fighting games. They can take advantage of the expansive set of characters and locations that these long-running series tend to have. They can borrow the combat skills established in the series and implement them into their battle system, and they have the opportunity to recreate many iconic moments in the series during their movesets. So when you take all of this into consideration, and also the fact that battle shonen anime tend to be among the most popular anime that gets released, it shouldn't be that surprising that we see a lot of anime fighting games. You wouldn't see a dance rhythm game based on, I don't know, One Punch Man. No, it's obviously going to be a fight-oriented game. But then you might ask, well, why does it have to be an arena fighter? I mean, there are other fight-oriented video game genres out there that you could explore, so why do we only have to see arena fighters? People keep saying we want a Naruto fighters, and honestly, that actually sounds like a neat idea. I want that too. But to answer the previous question, the thing is, it's already the case. That's another thing about this whole conversation that I feel like is getting ignored, which is the fact that there are other games out there based on anime that aren't necessarily arena fighters. This year we got Kakarot, One Piece Pirate Warriors, and soon we'll be getting a Sword Art Online game based on the Alicization season. Well, kind of. Last year we got One Piece World Seeker, a Tokyo Ghoul game. In the previous year we got Fist of the North Star, a fucking Girls and Panzer game, a Black Clover game, and there's probably more that I can list that if I tried even harder, none of which being arena fighters. And what's especially interesting about all of this is that if you look at the library of anime-based games, a lot of them have critical receptions that aren't so different from what you would find in arena fighters, yet I don't see anyone complain about the genres they're a part of. Like, have you played any of the Sword Art Online games? I honestly dare you to play Hollow Fragment, yet I don't see anyone trashing the entire RPG genre. In fact, no one would have the balls to do that because it's well agreed among the consensus that RPGs can be good, especially since a lot of the highest acclaimed games out there considered to be classics are RPGs. But with arena fighters, because there aren't a ton of examples of well-respected entries, then it's easier for people to assume there's an inherent problem with the genre. I've even seen comments from people expressing that arena fighters should just die and that it's a toxic and lazy model for anime games. But to me, this just comes off as a misguided way of viewing things. Instead of pointing fingers at the genre, maybe we should instead blame the companies and their practices. I find it to be a very defeatist mindset to just assume that arena fighters can never be as competitive as 2D fighters and that any attempt at making one automatically results in a shallow product, especially since just last year we got an arena fighter, aka Kill la Kill If, that does in fact open itself up for competitive gameplay. It's tightly balanced, it lends itself room for various creative extended combos, the characters have their own unique set of mechanics and movesets, and yet, even when that gets released, you have geniuses from IGN who unironically believe you can just mash your way out of victory because they're not even playing the game correctly. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, I wouldn't say that I'm okay with the state of arena fighters, and there are definitely some well-deserved criticisms that even I have towards many of the ones that get released. But I do believe that the genre gets a little too prematurely disregarded. I am someone who very much encourages a diverse supply of genres in the anime gaming sphere, which in all fairness, we are already kind of getting that, and it's been like that for a long time. Not so long ago, we got a third-person shooting game based on Gun Guild Online, we had 2 hack-and-slash Attack on Titan games, there are various VR experiences, visual novels, soon enough we'll be getting a soccer game, and if we're allowed to include original titles that aren't based on any outside material, I mean, the supply pool would be even bigger. In the end, what we really should be doing is stop supporting games that are obviously bad just because our favorite characters are in it. If Spike Chunsoft has consistently released bad arena fighters, maybe it's not the best solution to follow their lineup, at least not in the competitive fighting game realm. And doing so is only going to muddy your perception of the entire genre. When a GameSpot article has multiple contradicting and borderline misleading statements and still gets praised because haha arena fighters bad, I think there might be a problem with the way we're having these conversations. Maybe a little bit of bias. I'm just saying, give this genre a chance. I think its potential has kind of gone overlooked by a lot of people, and while it is important to shame the bad apples, it's also important to acknowledge what it can be, and celebrate the ones that do something to tap its potential. Like these two over here.